This is TNT Sports' Adam Summerton, and you're listening to Three Fish on the Shirt.
This is John Sander. You're listening to Three Fish on the Shirt.
Hello, welcome to this week's Three Fish on the Shirt. I'm flying solo tonight. Steve's away, so we'll look forward to welcoming him back next week. But we look back to yesterday's game at home to Carlisle, with Town looking for their first win at Blundell Park in 2025. They managed to do it thanks to goals from Justin Abikwu and Danny Rose from the penalty spot, after going behind to Lavelle's 5th-minute goal for Carlisle from a pretty poor defending from a corner again, which was something that's haunted Town throughout the season, predominantly in the first part of the season. But that meant that Town had got back-to-back wins for the first time in 2025. Back-to-back doubles, so Bromley beating Bromley last week meant a double for Town over Bromley, and a double for them yesterday over Carlisle, having won 3-2, having come back from behind. And this is the second time they've come back from behind to win this season, previously against Carlisle, as it happens. So that was another positive, and also back-to-back games with the two up front and both scoring. So Bikwu and Rose scoring for the second game in a row. Leaving Town on 30 games played, 14 wins, 3 draws and 13 defeats, 42 goals scored, 46 against, with 45 points. When you look at the outturn for last year, 49 points, that's a pretty good return by the early part of February for the Mariners, so undoubted improvement. There's been a lot of talk about when Town win or lose, and the lack of consistency, that one game win, 1 or 2 games won, and it's no problem, we're going to win the league, and a couple of games or a defeat here and there, and it's Artel out. I think that's we are inconsistent by no stretch of the imagination, but can see a definite improvement. We talked about this in previous episodes. Certainly a much more resilient side. Other sides would have previous Town sides would have lost that game yesterday after going down early. Probably a team earlier in the season might have lost that game for Town, has had a struggle and heads drop a little bit at 1-0 down, and our team's lack belief. But I think the Artel out message is pretty much nonsense, even when things are going not so well. And I think he's doing a good job. And yesterday, the players backed themselves to go after the game and got it. So after going down, say early on, Town tried to build back into the game, and first half was a bit frustrating in that we sometimes looked to be overplaying in tight areas, but created some good chances, had the ball in the net. Unfortunately offside as the ball came back off the keeper, and bounced back for a big Bikwu to put the ball in the net, but it was to no avail. And being 1-0 down, that frustration was starting to grow. But half time, you hope that Town went in to get a bit of a pep talk at half time and see what they could come out with in the second half. And to be fair, in the second half, they came out and gave it a real good effort. There was only one team probably heading to win the game. Just to finish off on the first half, to start with, there was one particular event where Hugel got through. He was kind of running through wide towards the pontoon Imperial Avenue corner, and seemed to sort of run across the edge of the box and apparently be caught by Jordan Wright. I'm not so sure there was any or much contact at all, and I think he was waiting for contact that never came. That's how the ref saw it, and the ref duly booked him for his simulation, I expect, and Town apparently got away with that one, according to certainly Mark Hughes and sources, and that sort of argument about booking players for, in inverted commas, diving certainly would be a talking point later on in the game for other reasons. But if you stay tuned for the whole episode, you will see proof, definite proof on the Town winning penalty. Was it a penalty or not? So bear with us on that one. So Town continued to create chances. The Carlisle keeper Breeze was in decent form and tried to keep the Mariners out, but on 62 minutes, Evan Corey got away down the left, burst into the box, put a ball into a big crew. He shielded the ball from the keeper with his back and spun on a sixpence to turn the ball into the net. And Town were back on level terms. And after that, I think it was probably there was only going to be one winner in the game, and that was the Mariners. Overall, again, at times in tight areas, sometimes wrong decisions were made. But when it got to the 83rd minute, Kieran Green was taking a corner, spotted Santhorsson unmarked in the box. Santhorsson turned his man. The challenge came in and he went over, and there was a penalty. So, there was a lot of talk about that being a dive. We'll take a look at that, and you'll be able to see for yourself whether that was a dive or not. So let's have a look at these, recap of these goals. Corner comes in, Lavelle gets the ball on it, just strikes Danny Rose and goes in. Town seemed to get the wrong side of the man. Again, looked like potentially Doug Cram got on the wrong side of his man. Town get forward. Santhorsson plays some good trickery, gets the ball into the big crew, hits the keeper, and it's Kieran Green who's offside before a big crew puts the ball back in the net. And you can see the linesman nodding her head there as we go on. And then here's Rogers. Again gets the ball out to Santhorsson, who's had probably one of his best games for Town. Shot didn't quite match the skill of his earlier work, but certainly his touch was really good. And then there's Carlisle on the attack. I think this is one of the shots, one of the penalties that they claimed. Ball comes in, hits the post, comes back out, shoots, and I think it hits Harvey Rogers inside his body shape on the underside of his elbow. Potentially his arm's definitely not outside his body. And here's the Town first goal. As I said, Corey getting outside. Ball shielded by the big crew, and then turns to unmistakably put the ball in the net. And we'll come back to the Santhorsson one in a second. There he is going down, but we'll look at that in a bit more detail. We've got some much better footage of that particular shot, and then Danny Rose steps up to take the penalty. The referee was in no doubt of giving it, and here we go. He's popped that in, no problem. Keeper's gone the wrong way. He's given the eyes, and Danny Rose, third game in a row he's scored, second game in a row he's scored with his striking partner, Coventry loanee Justin Bickley. So the Town winner came from a penalty, won by Jason Daddy Santhorsson. Let's see what Mark Hughes had to say about it. It was pretty representative of the Carlisle view on whether it was a penalty or not.
I'm a bit disappointed in the referee's decision, if I'm honest. He's got two big ones wrong, in my view. Obviously, Joe in the first half clear penalty. The referee books him, and we have the same thing with the penalty that he gave, clear dive. Doesn't book him, gives him the penalty. So those are huge moments in the game that the referees have to get right, and unfortunately the referee today didn't. I think he'll look back at those decisions and realise he's made mistakes.
So let's have a look at this penalty for Town. Lots of consternation from Carlisle fans. In comes the corner. Santhorsson takes it, spins his man, and is taken down. to the shouts of dive from the Carlisle fans and not from the Grimsby fans. We've got better footage that shows what happened in reality, and we'll either damn Jason Dawson as a diver or we'll clear him completely, and we'll have a look at that right now. Right, let's have a look at this Svan Thorson from a much better angle. This Svan Thorson penalty claim, which was given by the referee, much maligned by the Carlisle United fans, but let's have a look, see what happens. So, ball comes in from a short corner from Green. Svan Thorson gets it, turns his man. Looks fairly soft at first glance, but I think when you look at the replay, slowed down, the referee gets it spot on. Svan Thorson's quick feet take the ball away from the defender. Defender stands right on his top of his foot, which is pretty painful. He pulls his foot away. His other ankle overextends downwards, and that's not a dive. That's a clear penalty. He's taken him down, and the defender was really upset with himself afterwards to the point he went and tried to drag Svan Thorson off the floor. Yeah, there is. Look, clear contact between foot and foot. Nowhere near the ball. And up stepped Danny Rose to stick the penalty into the back of the net with no danger whatsoever. Missed one earlier in the season at Tranmere, but 3 goals in 3 games now for Danny Rose, and a great pen. Sends the keeper the wrong way, and despite Breeze having a great game, he wasn't getting anywhere near that penalty at all. So despite Mark Hughes accusing Jason Svan Thorson as diving, I think that footage pretty much concludes that it was clearly a pen. I've no footage of the Carlisle situations, unfortunately, other than the one we mentioned earlier where I think it hit Harvey Rogers on the underarm as it was close to his body from fairly close range. Not he could have seen or done a lot about it. So whatever is said and done, the ref wasn't great, I don't think, at times, as refereeing never tends to be. We'll look back on the last few games, Swindon, Bradford, Accrington, particularly, and look at the penalties given in those games. There's probably one of those is a clear cut, and the others you could argue all day long about. But the standard, the high bar for a penalty for Town seems to have been GBH or severe attack, and we've had very few penalties. But when we have, all bar one, I think they've been put away. And Danny Rose did his job with aplomb yesterday, giving the keeper no chance, who went the wrong way. So good win for Town. I think it was well deserved at the finish. Could have been 4-1, 5-1, 5-2, you name it. And I think, whilst Carlisle may feel hard done to on particular incidents, I think on balance, I think even most honest of Carlisle fans will admit that they would have struggled to win that game yesterday, and that Town were deserved winners. Decent crowd, good following from Carlisle, which is great for a team down the bottom. Big club in the league, proper old-fashioned club, and one of the like we'd want to see continuing in the league. So I really genuinely wish them good luck for the rest of the season. 5,788 in the ground. Decent atmosphere again. Town fans got behind the effort, which is really good to see again, because we all know how flat it can go if things don't go well, and as they didn't yesterday. In the first instance, the fans stuck with the players, and we got into a groove as a result of it. I think probably the only probably one thing that goes against what I've just said in terms of Carlisle pulling through is I don't really want Tranmere to get caught up in the whole thing. I've got a really close friend who supports Tranmere, and I'd hate to see them suffer as a result of a Carlisle United team in a good run towards the end of the season. But nonetheless, I'd be happier if both of them could survive, and we'll see how that transpires to the rest of the season. But Carlisle definitely not looking as bad as suggested. But Town were on one of their better days, which we can hope to see building a bit of confidence. As for a man of the match performance, the nod was given to Justin Abikwu for his goal scoring performance. It was a handful all afternoon, but special mention to Jason Daddy Thorson, who had a great game at right wing back again. He was great at the back, unflapped at the back, and going forward created plenty of danger, including his contribution for the match-winning goal, which I think we've conclusively proved gets him off the charge of being a diver, which I certainly don't think he is. So, well done to those guys. I think there was plenty of decent performances yesterday, and it's great to see JDS finally settling into his role as well, and hopefully the other two guys who one was involved and one wasn't yesterday, coming back and being on the pitch. Even if it's in the matchday squad, but those guys have got to settle in as well. And we've got another lad coming in, hopefully, who can learn from Jason how easy it can be, or shortcut some of the settling down issues as Geezer comes in from the Faroe Islands, and Dara Burns joins us from MK Dons, coming back over from Ireland. So he was involved yesterday on the bench, saw him training, but it wasn't involved in the game. Eventually, David Artell explained that away as being just a precautionary, not wanting to load him up too quickly, and there being no rush. And I think that's a great sign for the squad that we're able to do that. Geezer David Chari, for example, is also being delayed a little bit by the fact he's got to go sort his visa out, or he's been to sort his visa out. Had to go to Copenhagen on Friday to get a biometric version of his passport sorted in Copenhagen, and then return after applying for a visa whilst out of the country. And then the club have to wait for the visa to come through. But he's back and was at Blundell Park for his first game, experiencing the BP atmosphere for himself. As I say, Dara Burns was on the bench but didn't feature. And looking forward to seeing him get up to speed, and hopefully we shall see him in a black and white shirt before too long. Exciting times. Just picking up on the other results in the second division, the League Two this week. Bradford City beat Yorkshire neighbours Harrogate 1-0 with a second-minute goal. Ian Holloway's Flying Swindon managed a 3-3 draw with Port Vale, so Port Vale's form improving slightly there. The Holloway bounce, I'm still sceptical of. I was pretty scathing of his joining of Swindon at the start of the season, and if there's in the unlikely event of a Swindon fan watching this, I wouldn't get your hopes up too early. Owners and managers like that coming together very, very rarely ends well, so be warned. But you're out of immediate danger, so that's the main thing. Accrington Stanley 0-0 with Wimbledon. Good result for Accrington, I guess. Wimbledon flying, so that's probably good for Town if they want to end up in the playoff mix. Barrow 3, Gillingham 0. Barrow continuing their good home form with a late victory against Gillingham. All three goals coming in the last half hour of the game, and 2 of them in the last 5 minutes. Colchester 2, Walsall 1. Walsall's dip in form takes another twist. Their 4th game in a row where they've not won, and they've only won 1 point out of those 4 games. Crewe lost 3-0 at home to Newport County, so Bogle facing his old team and coming out second best. So they got a great win, Newport, and they're happy to see some points in the bag as they battle at the bottom of the league. Fleetwood 2, Cheltenham 0. Town beat Carlisle 2-1, as we know. MK Dons wheels have dropped off a little bit as Town's vanquished opponents last week. Bromley beat them at the MK Stadium, and that's their manager in a bit of bother now, Scott Lindsay. He's in a really poor run of form, and I think it just shows the value of having. Remember, we talked about David Artell at the start of the episode. You look at what getting rid of a manager does in terms of the merry-go-round. So Mike Williamson thought he was onto a good thing by joining MK Dons. Saw the grass was greener at Carlisle, moved on from there, but has since been sacked. Scott Lindsay, who was the bee's knees at Crawley, came in to replace him at MK Dons, started off doing well, but now is really not. And you've got all that instability at those two clubs now as a result of those moves. And I think, in terms of David Artell and the long-term project, I'm more bought into that type of management of the football club than chopping and changing them and messing about like the likes of Swindon, Carlisle, and Crawley and MK Dons have done. Next up was Notts County. They're on a great run of form. If anybody's going to catch Walsall, it'll be them. And Whittaker and Jatta again helped them to a 2-0 win over Morecambe. And Salford beat a hapless Tranmere Rovers 2-0, who are on an absolutely dreadful run of form. As I said earlier, I do find out other information about Tranmere that I wouldn't normally, and their plight at the minute feels very, very similar to where we were at stages last season. And for my friends and his family's sake, I hope they get their asses in gear and pick up some points pretty soon and get out of the mess that they're in. But yeah, completely echoes of the Mariners last season. So that's the results from yesterday. So we look at the table for the League Two. That leaves us in 9th position on 35 points. And as I said as I said earlier on, we've got 45 points versus the 49 we got last year, and that's 16 games earlier. I'm on a pretty reasonable run of form now with no defeats in the last 3, 2 wins, 2 draws, and 2 defeats in the last 6, which isn't too bad considering the defeats were in the first 3 of those 6 games. So hopefully the trend is upwards. Trip to Doncaster next week, which is always an exciting away game. Over 2,000 Mariners expected to make that journey. I don't know if many more will, but that's 12:30 kickoff next week at Doncaster. So it'll be interesting to see if Harry Clifton faces us next week. And also that leaves us only 3 points outside the playoffs, 3 points behind Salford. And there's Crewe between us and them as well, all on 30 games and 48 points. Town on 30 games and 45 points, as I've said, and only 5 points behind Bradford, who are just 2 points behind Doncaster in 3rd. So that means we're only 7 points outside the automatics. So any of us, I think, as Town fans, would have snapped your hand off if you'd have said that's where we'd be at the start of the season. Yes, we're inconsistent, but we'll take that over what we've seen in previous seasons. So looking forward to Doncaster. We'll see how we fare next week there. Hopefully there's going to be another on the road episode next week, so watch this space, and we'll catch you next time. Thank you for watching Three Fish on the Shirt. If you don't subscribe to the YouTube channel, please do. It helps us reach more Mariners fans and more football fans, and we really appreciate your support. And if you want to get involved, please get in touch, because we're more than happy to have you come on, talk about the matches. It's not a pressured situation. And it's a bit of fun and really positive thing that we can do to chat about our favourite football team. So, come and get involved if you want to, and we'll see you next week, hopefully with some smiley faces after a trip to Doncaster. All the best. Up the Mariners. Cheers. Thank you for watching or listening to tonight's show. You can catch us on YouTube, podcasts on Podbean or Apple Podcasts. You can also find us on our social media channels of Instagram, Twitter, or X as it's now known, TikTok and Facebook. Please like, subscribe and share at every opportunity. It helps us a lot.